Legacy. A tradition lives on. 4 generations of artists. Louis Anquetin, 1861-1932. Sometime around 1886, the young artists of Paris were eager to move beyond Impressionism. This new generation of artists wanted to create highly personalized interpretations of reality and redefine their art. 2 friends, Louis Anquetin and Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, were leaders of a young group of Montmartre students in the Cormont Atelier. Like most art students, they often drew portraits of each other. Influenced by Japanese prints that were arriving in Paris, Anquetin made pastel studies of l'Avenue de Clichy before he painted an oil of the same subject. This was an innovative method of painting using strong black contour lines and flat areas of color. He exhibited this painting along with others at the Salon des Indépendants in Paris. The critic Edouard Dujardin dubbed the new style Claircentism and claimed it an essential development of Neo-Impressionism. Anquetin was hailed as the inventor of a new ism. The new style greatly interested Lautrec, who created a circus painting which plainly showed Anquetin's influence. Another young artist, Vincent van Gogh, arrived at the Cormont Atelier and was so inspired by Anquetin's painting l'Avenue de Clichy that he painted Café de Nuit à Arles. A year later, inspired by Anquetin's Le Fauché, he painted Les Moissons. Other artists were also influenced by Anquetin's work. Gauguin painted Reverie after seeing Anquetin's Femme de Profil. Later, Picasso used Anquetin's Madeleine as a model for a portrait of Gertrude Stein. In 1894, Anquetin and Lautrec traveled to Holland and Belgium to examine the works of the great northern artists Rubens, Rembrandt, and Hals. They acknowledged the differences between the masters' fluid and brilliant oils and their own, which were opaque and laborious. The artist Renoir also had long discussions with Anquetin about techniques, and they agreed something was definitely lacking in their materials. Many of the artists had switched to pastels because oil painting was so dull. At this point, Anquetin, after being one of the chief contributors to the evolution of modern art, decided to make an abrupt turn in his career. Anquetin decided to enter the laboratory of dissection for 2 years to study anatomy with Professor Aroux. The research of the old masters' methods and materials had begun. Jacques Marager, 1885-1962. As a young man in Paris, Marager entered the studio and class of Louis Anquetin, where he learned the mixing of colors and oils. They started a friendship that lasted a lifetime, and together tried to solve the mysteries of the lost formulas of the masters. In an interview, Marager was asked about Anquetin.
Anquetin, you see, he was my boss, and he was the most gifted man and the most intelligent man I had ever met. Oh, he was a pure genius. He knows how to draw, he studied the master and the things like that. And he knows, in looking at the master, you see, the main thing in the whole painting was the transparency. Then he tried to get this transparency, but he gets that in a wrong way. You see, making some painting in black and white, let dry, and after he put some transparent coat of painting on the top of it. But that doesn't work, you see, and he realized that, and he was perfectly unhappy on his life, because he was destroying all what he was painting by incapacity, impossibility to paint, you know, and he was tragic.
In 1929, Marager was appointed technical director of the Louvre. He was credited with discovering the first oil painting medium used by the 15th century Flemish artist Jan van Eyck. A few years before the death of Anquetin, he wrote to Marager about the new medium.
My dear friend, I just finished the painting for Artistic, over which I believe I made a big step forward. It gives me absolute satisfaction. You found an admirable, wonderful thing, of which I thank you personally from my heart. If I don't die soon, I will be able to do a real painting before leaving this world, and it will be stunning. Everyone sends you a kiss. We'll see you soon. Anquetin.
Critic Roger Fry invited Maroget to give a painting demonstration in London for a number of prominent English artists. Among them was Augustus John.
Today, I tried the new medium which arrived this morning. I am enchanted with it. Oh, why didn't I have that 20 years ago? My dear friend, in any case, you are saving my life. All yours, Augustus John.
Dear Mr. Maroget, your name will remain, I hope, beside Van Eyck, as one of the great benefactors of artists of all time. Sincerely yours, Roger Fry.
In 1937, Raoul Dufy was commissioned to paint a 36 by 220-foot mural of l'Histoire de l'électricité for the Paris World Fair. He used the Maroget medium and chose Maroget as his technical advisor.
Dear Mr. Maroget, you are opening a new era to the world of painting, and in the name of all painters, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. With affection and friendship, I remain yours.
Maroget was awarded the Legion of Honor for his contribution. Alice Warder Garrett, an American art patron and mistress of the Evergreen House in Baltimore, met Maroget in Paris, where they became friends. She encouraged him to emigrate to the United States and settle in New York, where he taught at the Parsons School of Design. She later introduced him to Hans Schuler Sr., president of the Maryland Institute of Art in Baltimore, who persuaded him to teach at the Institute and create an old master's atelier. Maroget gave his students intensive training in anatomy, drawing, portraiture, and still life painting. In another excerpt from Maroget's final interview, he was asked about the future.
I am very happy too, because from 2-3 years is a big interest in the technique, you see. You have some publisher like Dover, you see, they publish some book about the technique, you know. And in a cheap way, you see, then is a big spread and is a big need. Then I don't doubt, you see, by the experience I have with the young people, they are deeply interested in willing to do something, and they will do it, you know. They will do it.
The first to join Maroget as a pupil and then an assistant was Anne Didit Schuler. She remained throughout his years at the Maryland Institute and was followed by a number of talented students: Frank Redelius, Earl Hoffman, Evan Keane, John Bannon, and Joseph Shepard. They became the Maroget Group and exhibited together at the Grand Central Art Galleries in New York. Reginald Marsh, Maroget's friend and new convert to the Maroget medium, also showed his work in support of the group. After visiting